Hello, Bella Beauties. Thanks for joining me today on this awesome video. If you are looking for something simple, yet fun and cute for Halloween, you came to the right spot. So today I want to show you guys how to achieve a sugar skull candy look, but keeping it simple, but fun. Those are big things today. We want something that's going to be simple, quick, fast, in and out for our guest. Our guest doesn't always have the time, and neither do we. So I did want to show you guys something that you can achieve using all Mirabella products and nothing else. So, well, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to use this cute little OMG makeup headband. I will admit this is my daughter's. I have one in black and I can't find it, so I stole hers. So something to remember too is always use anything, a headband, or you can use a cotton one, anything that's going to keep the hair out of the face when you're doing a Halloween look. That's extremely important because you don't want to get hair in the makeup along with being in the way. So make sure you guys have it pushed back and out of the way. I have already cleansed my skin as well as toned and finished it off with the Renew moisturizer. All of Mirabella's skincare. It's a 3-step program. It's great, it's simple, and it's easy. And it works fantastic for any skin type. Then I also went in with my Prime and Awaken primers. So I did my Anti-Aging Awaken primer first, and then I went in with my Prime right around the eyes, through here, and in my T-zone. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply my foundation. You just need a simple layer of foundation, nothing crazy. I personally love my Invincible. The only reason I love this is because it's a high definition. Not only is it great because it's anti-aging, but high definition is super important when it comes to a Halloween look. Because if you're wearing a Halloween look, you're gonna be taking photos. So you wanna make sure that high definition is in there, as well as having that anti-aging effect, because let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, it's important. So one thing that's so important right now is following sanitation guidelines. So always have a clean palette that you're working with. I've already sanitized my hands. I am working on myself, but if we are working on a guest, please make sure that you are washing and sanitizing, specifically sanitizing your hands in front of your guest, because that is extremely important. So I'm gonna take my Invincible and I'm gonna go ahead and put some pumps on here so I can get my skin covered with some foundation. Now today I am gonna be using a sponge. The only reason I'm using a sponge is because I'm gonna be using multiple color changes. So it's just something easier than having to clean your brush in between. But again, I've put it on here. So I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm gonna start to apply. And the one thing I love about our Invincible is it's not heavy, it's not super thick, but it is a full coverage makeup foundation. So we're just gonna get this in and make sure you are blending into the neckline. Very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, because you wanna make sure it's all nice and blended. So I'm going to show you here too, before I fill in the other side. Let me turn up my light on a little bit brighter here in a second. So you guys can see the before. This is without makeup, and then this is with the foundation. Very soft, doesn't look heavy, but it's covering any of my blemishes that I need covered. And now I'm stippling. If you guys notice, I'm just pressing, and we like to call this stippling. This stipples all of the product into the skin, and it gives you a nice soft airbrush finish rather than giving it a streaky look. If you are applying it back and forth and swiping it, it will give you a streaked look. So please be aware on how you apply your foundation. So you're always going to want to make sure that you are pressing it in. I always like to tell myself in my head, dab, 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 and it will help remind me not to swipe. make sure I get that all down here. Blend that into my neckline. We want to make sure, ladies and gentlemen, when you are applying this foundation, that you are color matching correctly to the skin. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Oh yeah, that looks awesome. Nice, even coverage. Looks smooth on the skin, nothing crazy. Okay, so next step. Now, the fun part. So if you guys noticed, I have not done my eyebrows, I haven't done blush or highlight contouring. You're not gonna need it for this. And that's what's something that's so fun about this, is low maintenance. So, I just wiped my foundation off, that little excess. Now, you're gonna need your blender brush. You will need your double-ended brow and spoolie brush. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna need 2 of those because we have 2 different colors going on. You will also need, I have everything laid out here. You're gonna need the smoke eyeliner, so in black. Okay, got everything. So, we have the red, the blackmail, and the graphite. These are all our velvet pencils. I love using these for Halloween because they are a thicker consistency, but they stay. Like, stay. What you won't see in this video is me taking probably a good half hour to an hour of getting it off my face because they do stay that well. We are also going to need our Artistry Palette. Mirabella's Artistry Palette is so awesome because it does have all of these fun colors out of our eyeshadow palettes, as well as 3 pure presses, and then a great combination of our Hugs and Kisses, as well as some blushes and another highlight and contour. It's the best of both worlds because it has everything you guys need. So let's go ahead and get started on our eyes. I am gonna need the blackmail as well as our graphite because we're gonna mix those 2 together. So I am going to sharpen this because I want a clean crayon. So I have this crayon, but here's the kicker. You guys are gonna go, oh my gosh. But for sanitation purposes on a guest, we have to make sure that we put it on our palette. You will not need this crayon now. Now I'm gonna take my graphite. Again, I'm gonna sharpen. Sharpen, sharpen, sharpen. Okay. Now here's my graphite, okay? Again, I'm gonna show you guys here. I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna put it right next to it. So the great thing about this graphite, it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it, whereas blackmail, it does not. It is just a very, very jet black. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a spatula. So it looks like this, clean out of a box, and I'm gonna mix them together. So I'm going to, let me see if I can show you guys this. I'm gonna smash that, and then I'm gonna start just mixing them together, okay? Oh yeah, there we go. So it's gonna look like this. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna set this down because we might have to mix more in a little bit. Now the fun part. So I'm gonna take my eyebrow brush and I'm gonna mix this together on my brush, front and back. Okay. show you guys this. Okay, and we're gonna get started. So, and I do have my Mirabella mirror right here. So I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just start applying all over. And here's the fun part. All the way into that brow. So when you get to your brow, you're gonna create a circle. So, let's bring that all the way there. Start right here. And bring that all the way around. So it doesn't have to be perfect right away because you can start filling things in if you guys notice. Just trying to do this as well as look in the mirror. And I always like to use my eyebrow on the top as a great guide to start that circle and bring it around, okay? All right, now, let's go ahead and do the other side. The fun thing I love about a Halloween look, you guys, is it always looks pretty crazy when you first get started, and then when you finish it and you have it all together, then it looks good. But as you're starting, it's gonna look a little crazy. So I always recommend don't show your clients until it's halfway there because it does look a little silly. So let's go ahead and start filling this in. And this part doesn't have to be too perfect. I love using the blackmail and the graphite just to really give me a nice foundation before I put on some black eyeshadow. With Halloween makeup, if you notice, you're gonna be wearing it for a while. And if you don't be careful, you're gonna get some fallout. So I always like to use this as a nice set for my eyeshadow. Plus, it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use that to really finish that blend of a circle. So we got one side done for that. I'm gonna take some more, make sure we got that on both sides, and let's create this again. Again, using my eyebrow for that start. I'm gonna bring it down. And create that circle. And fill this in. Get a nice foundation going for the eyeshadow. Trust me when I tell you this is going to be fun to watch. But the thing about it is it's not going anywhere, and that is the most important part. Okay, so we have two black eyes. And now what I'm going to do is take a clean spatula. So we need one more clean one. And we are going to go into our eyeshadow palette, okay? And where's my color? This Spellbinding right here, this black right there. That's what we're going into. But we need to scrape it out for proper sanitation. So I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna lightly scrape enough product. And I'm actually gonna pour it right into my blackmail and my graphite palette. So that way I can mix that product together even more and then have a nice set. Because we've already created that foundation with using the blackmail and the graphite together. Now I want to add that matte black eyeshadow on top of it just to fill in those gaps and really set the eye. So here's this. I've scraped it. I'm just going to tap that out. Okay. I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to really clean this. Now, something also that you can do is take your bulletproof setting spray and you can even spray that in as well to give you more of a wet finish. So this is what it'll start to look like. So now we're gonna take our brush again, and I'm gonna remove this excess. Okay. So I'm gonna get that on there because this has the blackmail, the graphite, as well as that spellbinding black eyeshadow all mixed in here. So I'm gonna just use this, and now I'm gonna go in and start putting it in. Now you notice how it's getting even darker. It's getting a nice black, and it's setting that right onto it. All right, yes, that is looking awesome. So I want to make sure that I'm getting right into my line that I've created. Now, do you guys notice the difference on this side versus this side? A lot darker because we've used our matte spellbinding black eyeshadow. So we put that right on there, and that really gives you a nice darker look. Okay. And just gonna take a brush and I'm gonna get any of that little extra fallout off there. Now I still have plenty for my other eye, so we're gonna go in and make this darker as well. Almost there. Well, perfect timing for that to drop. So if that were to happen, another quick and easy, simple yet fun, you can take your blending brush and go right in here, and you're gonna stipple this in. Okay. Oh yes. Looking great, you guys. Now, we are going to take our smoke eyeliner. We are going to sharpen it because it needs to be sanitized. So I'm gonna put that in. I have one of our old ones, so you can also have your new one, but you need to make sure that you are cleaning it per our sanitation purpose. So I'm going to take this, and I to spray it. And sharpen one more time here so that it's nice and cleaned. So I'm going to go right in. I'm gonna look down here a little bit, and I'm gonna get right into that waterline. See how that darkened that up from this side to that? So right up to that waterline. And bam. Let's do right up here. So I'm gonna use my hand as a guide just to get close. Okay. Look at that, ladies. Gentlemen, we have two very black eyes. Now for the fun part, let's start drawing. I love using these pencils because they glide on so well. So we are going to draw tip of the nose down, right here, tip of the nose, and down. Okay, and we're gonna color it in. Now, our magic marker would have been fantastic to use on this, but because you cannot properly sanitize your magic marker without them purchasing the magic marker, it's best to use our black nail crayons, graphite, the jade velvet crayons, as well as our eyeliners, because we can sanitize them. But if your client really wants to use the magic marker, that's fine, but then they will need to purchase that. So I always like to round it out around my nose. And I'm going to bring this up. So it's kind of got like a little bit of a flamed effect. Okay. Because I don't want to get all the way in my nostrils for sanitation, I'm going to take my leftover and take my sponge, okay, and get it in here, and I'm just gonna start pressing this in, okay? So I'm gonna have to get in a little bit more product, get a clean spatula. And start pressing this in. Look at that. All right. Get all my little details. We're getting there, guys. Okay. Now, please make sure that you guys are cleaning everything off after use, because we want to keep everything sanitized, okay? So we have here and here. Now we're gonna do some cool skull-like on the mouth. And I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna bring it straight down, okay? Right through the Cupid's bow. Right down. And that's where you're gonna start. And then you're gonna take it right on the outside of your Cupid's bow, and you're gonna make it a little bit shorter than your middle one. And you're gonna go straight down. Same on this side. Straight down. Straight down. Check that out. Cool, right? So now we're gonna take this, and I'm just gonna use my hand as a guide. Okay, and I'm gonna create this line. And then I'm going to make sure you bring it all the way out, okay? Now, you wanna make sure that you continue to have a nice point to it. So I always like to sharpen it. So we have that. Here's the fun part, real fun part. You get to draw some fun designs. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a swirlies on this side and on this side, but I kind of want to do like a spider web right through this top half. So I'm just gonna create a soft little V. Now, you'll notice that I'm not making them super perfect, and you're gonna see why here in a second. So I'm gonna do this, arc that, arc that. So I'm gonna take my blending brush, okay? And I'm literally just gonna soften this out. So it creates a little bit of shadowing. Now for some fun little lines, let's do one right here. And bring this one off right here. And let's bring this one right here. Let's see here. So we'll bring down, in there. Let's bring that right there. I'm gonna create that a little bit right there. Now, again, take my blending brush. I'm just going to soften that line. And same with this side. Okay. Same with right here. Okay. So at this point, I'm done with my smoke eyeliner. Now I'm gonna set it aside because I wanna make sure I clean it before its next use. Now, we're gonna take the red velvet. So I love our new Stay All Day Velvet lip pencils. This sucker does not bleed, but I'm not gonna use it like this. You're probably gonna cringe because I'm thinking about going, ooh, when I do this, but the price of beauty when it comes to Halloween makeup is important. Okay. So I don't need that anymore. Remember how I said you're gonna need another eyebrow pencil for your brushes? Here's another one. Clean. I'm going to brush it in. Okay, see this? Not for the fun part. Ready? Now this doesn't have to be perfect. So some go in little, little swooping little half moons. You can do that, or you can have fun with it. We're gonna have fun with it. So I want one here, and I'm gonna color this in. We want one right here. Okay. And I want one right here. Again, we're going to color that in with the red. Okay. And I want one right here. And one right here. And I'm going to show you in a second why we're not going to put one right here. So let me do this side. Now I'm going to take my nice little smudge brush, okay? Fill in any little spots. But now I'm just going to lightly blend those in right here. So that just softens that. All right. Pretty quick, pretty easy, right guys? So, we're gonna take my eyeshadow brush again, my brow brush. And we're gonna line it right between our skeleton lines. Just filling in my lines. Pretty cool, right? So here's a little quick fun trick too. So I'm going to take my blending brush that I've already had, and I'm just going to take that little excess black that I had and lightly create a little bit of shadowing right through here. And bring this up. Pretty cool, right guys? So something simple and fun. So of course we can't have any fun without some lashes and some jewels. So I love these. This is the one thing I'm going to use that is not Mirabella because I have these. So these are really cool. You can get these from Walmart, Halloween stores. You can order them as well, but the cool thing about the Sugar Skull candy look is you can do whatever you guys want to do, but we're going to use some sparkle, and I am going to go ahead and put them like right through here, and of course we have to have lashes, so I'm going to get my Lash Glue. Tweezers. Tweezers are so important when you're applying lashes, girls. They're also important when you're applying these fun jewels. So let's see what one. Let's do this one right here. So we're gonna get a jewel out. And I am going to grab a clean brush, and I always, to apply glue for spots like this, I always like to use just a very, like, my tiny little detail brush, okay? Now I take some glue. drop things like I do. And I'm just gonna apply this glue right here. And make sure you are applying it to the size of the jewel. Okay. That we're gonna use, or at least close to it. And I also put my glue right here on my Sanitation palette. And I always like to put a little bit, whatever's left over on my brush. And I like to apply that to the back. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna apply it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we did not put any red